To get started with this tutorial, this is the fabric of choice that I'm going to be working with, and it is a total of 4 yards. I have gone ahead to fold my fabric into 2. I cut out a section of the fabric to make the cutting easy, and it is 22 inches on fold. You can see it is folded 22 inches on fold. This will be enough, and also 60 inches in length. The length is actually the actual length of this fabric. If you're familiar with crepe, you will know that it comes with 60 inches in length. Now let's go on with placing the measurements. The very first measurement I'm going to be placing is my neck width, how wide I want the neckline to be, and I'm going for 3.5 inches, which is what I marked from the folded edge of this fabric. And bear in mind that this is the back pattern that I'm cutting first of all. The next thing I'm marking is half of the shoulder, which is 8 inches. After on, I'm going to be marking the length of the sleeve, and I'm going for 13 inches plus an additional 1 inch for hemming allowance over there. I know this is out of camera, but that's what I marked. Afterwards, I'm going to be marking the sleeve opening of 10 inches. Now I don't want this to be tight around the sleeve. Once I was done with all of that, I went ahead to mark the depth of the neckline, and for this I am using 2 inches for the back, and I'm drawing in a round neckline. After that, I went ahead to mark the shoulder to bust point measurement, which was about 11 inches. It is on this line that I'm going to be placing the bust measurements. So once that is done, I went ahead to place 1/4 of the bust measurement plus about 4 inches for ease allowance, because this is a free dress and you don't want it to be tight around the body. Thereafter, I connected from the sleeve opening to that measurement and I drew it all the way down. So it was just a bust measurement that we used in cutting out this dress. After marking down all of my measurements, I went ahead to cut this out. So guys, this is what it looks like. This is what the back looks like. No zipper allowance of any sort. Now I am going to be using this to cut the front. For the front, I have gone ahead to fold the fabric into 2. This is the back that I just finished cutting, and this is another fabric that I placed on fold for the front. If you notice around the folded edge, I left 1 inch before placing my back pattern. Now this 1 inch would help to create the slits that this dress has in the front. The front would be easy for me to cut, and the only major alteration I need to do is to the neckline. For the front neckline, I'm going for a neck depth of 4 inches, and it is still going to be a round neckline. And that is what I'm going over to draw in. After that, I would go ahead and cut it out and then slash open the folded edge for the front. So guys, it is time to begin the sewing process, and I'm going to be starting with the front. First thing I will do is to place right sides against each other. Afterwards, I'm going to be marking the depth of the opening that I want to have in the front. This is entirely optional. I'm going for a 4-inch opening, so that place is going to be opened, and I'm going to be sewing from there all the way down to where I want my slit to start. Now the length of your slit is dependent on you, on your preference. I am done sewing. This is what it looks like so far. This is the opening I want around the neckline, and here is the slit towards the hem of the dress. Now you would also need to iron your seam down to make your dress look neat along the way. Now the next thing would be for me to use a bias tape to sew the neckline down. You can use a facing if you want, but for this I went ahead with a bias tape So I'll just go ahead and use the bias tape for both the neckline of the front and also the neckline of the back. I am done with that process I just explained, and this is what the front neckline looks like so far, and this is what the back neckline looks like. Now before I join both the front and the back together, I would need to work on the inner belt that the front piece has. So I'm gonna cut out a strip of fabric that was about 40 inches long, but I later trimmed it down to about 35 inches long, and the width of this fabric is 5 inches. So what I will do is that I'm going to be placing it on fold, and I'll secure the raw edges to make it into a belt. And I have 2 of these, so one for the left side and one for the right side of my dress. After stitching the belt down, it is now time to attach it to the front part of the dress. This center seam that I have here is going to be serving as a guide for me when it is time to attach the belt down. Now to proceed, the very first thing I will do is to take my shoulder to waist measurements, and this is very important because we're going to be attaching the belt along the waistline. From that center seam there, I'm going to be marking 1/4 of the waist measurement with no extra allowance added. So if 1/4 of your waist measurement is 9 inches, mark exactly 9 inches. I will repeat likewise for the other side of the front. And I am doing this on the wrong side of my fabric. I'm just going over to cross check that I marked it on the waistline. Grabbing one of my belts, I'm going to be pinning it on that mark that I have there. I will repeat likewise for the other side of the front, and I'll go ahead and sew it down. I am done attaching the belt to the inner part of the front side of this dress. This is what it looks like. The belt is rightly placed on the inside of the front part of the dress. It is now time to join both the front and the back together, and as usual, placing right sides against each other, I would sew it down along the shoulder, sew the hem down along the sleeves, join it together along the sides, and finish off the hem by the length of this dress. This is the dress after I was done sewing. If you found this tutorial helpful and useful, make sure you give it a huge thumbs up. Just take a look at the waist area. The waist area is fitted, and you can also see the slit right here. Now I couldn't wear this dress because I made it for a client. You would have seen the beauty come out more. Also take a look at the back. The back is free, so you can imagine the front is fitted while the back is free. If you found this tutorial helpful, please give it a huge thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I will see you in my next tutorial. Stay blessed.